And we often use the term the mother test. If this is the sort of care that you would like to see for your mother, then it's the right kind of care. And if it's not, it needs to improve. We never want to have a piece of technology replacing a person, but if that piece of technology can free up more time, then that means that there is more people spending time with our residents, and that's what it's all about.
So the main highlight of the AI in care homes is like it should be governed and there should be some human who is overlooking the things that AI is doing.
A robot is never going to be a companion. It can be a physical helper, it could distribute food, it could help with providing hydration. But what it's never going to do, it's never going to replace that human touch, that companionship, that love and care that another person can give to another person.
Hello everyone, my name is Abdurrahman Salimi. I'm the host of TechFindsTech podcast, and today we have a very special guest with us, Kevin. Hi Kevin, how are you?
Hi, Abdurrahman. Thanks for having me. I'm very well, thank you. And you?
Yeah, I'm fine. So Kevin, before we start the podcast, can you just tell our audience about yourself?
Yes, so I'm Kevin Humphrys. I'm the CEO of Oakland Care Group. We're a family-owned provider with two homes on the Sussex coast, Oakland Grange in Littlehampton and Oakland Court in Feltham, Bognor Regis. Um, our focus really is on providing a new lease of life to people in their latter years, supported by person-centered care, which is delivered by teams who are supported with the right tools.
That's really inspiring to hear. What you are doing is absolutely amazing. So, can you just like tell us? Obviously, you are at a role where you are overseeing the leadership and the strategic vision for the company. How has been the journey so far, and what's the significant growth you have seen in yourself and in the company during the leadership?
I've been in a number of different roles within social care over the last 15 years, from charities to large providers to smaller providers. And I took on this role because I think that small, well-run organizations can be nimble enough to move with the needs of its residents and prospective residents. Um, Being closer to our communities, we're able to make decisions quickly, and that means that we can turn really good ideas into better outcomes without waiting for months for a sign off from a distant board or a distant leadership team, which has been my experience in the past. And so we've been able to be, uh, quite responsive to what needs we find within the community, and therefore able to support our staff to do a much better job, and having more time to spend with our residents than perhaps other larger organizations are able to do.
All right. Karen, I just want to zoom more bit onto the emotional side of this thing because obviously you are helping people, you are helping that part of the community that really need help and they are at the part of their life where they want the support from the one who can support them actually. So what emotional changes you have observed in your personality with the work you are doing?
I don't know if it's changes, but I think that what you find is you tap into those parts of you that are empathic, understanding. You realize that there are people with very different needs as individuals, and so you tend to get to know people very well. The staff get to know them immensely well. In fact, the staff tend to see the residents as an extended part of the family. We do call it, the Oakland Court family, the Oakland Grange family, because it is like a family where we care for those people just as the same as we would care for our own mother or our own father. And we often use the term the mother test. If this is the sort of care that you would like to see for your mother, then it's the right kind of care. And if it's not, it needs to improve. And you build close relationships with residents. And some of our residents have been with us 10 years or more. Um, and so you can't fail but see them as parts, big, significant parts of your life. And you don't go home and, you know, stop thinking about them. You cherish them, you love them as members of your family, and you have great concern for them. And so everything that we do, we use the term person-centered, but what that really means in practice is you're just thinking about that individual, what they like, what they don't like, what they need, how they like things, so that everything that you do is about that individual. You don't plan things for a whole body of people. You'd never do that for your own parents. So everything is about the individual. And and when we have the sad event of somebody passing, we're often well represented at the funeral to say our goodbyes because we're sad when somebody passes because we have had such a long, close relationship with them. And in addition to the residents themselves, their families become a part of the family within our homes. Um, they become a really intricate member. So much so that even after somebody's passed, the families are often still part of our community, still coming into the home, still being a part of the community, joining us on events or visiting on a regular basis. And I think that really shows the depth of the relationships that we build.
That's so good to hear. And especially you mentioned that they'll become a part of, they feel like a family because of the amount of time they spend with you, and and especially the last few years of their lives that they spend with you, and you go and say goodbye to them on their funerals. I mean, that's really show how much do you care about your residents. So moving to the next question, Kevin, which kind of technologies and what technologies Auckland is using in their care homes right now?
We have a bit of a test, I guess, we want to make sure that we only use technology where it genuinely helps residents and frees up staff. So I would say that basis, the foundation of our technology at the moment is a system called Nourish. It's a digital care planning and daily notes. So it means that everything about the resident is in that secure system. So everything from all their likes and dislikes, all their medications, all their needs are in there. And then every time a member of staff interacts with the resident, they put in a daily note. So we have a record of everything that's happened with them. Um, and that goes on a system called their timeline so that we can see how they're doing. In addition to that, we have another system called Cool Care that manages our rostering of staff, payroll, resident invoices, and even our maintenance logging for the care home buildings. We have another system called Nobi, and that's a smart lamp system that uses AI and it helps with our falls prevention and response. It means that if somebody falls, if they're unable to press their call bell, we're alerted immediately rather than having to find them at some later time when somebody checks on them or hears them calling. We're usually with them within 60 seconds to 2 minutes. So response-wise, the change that's brought is absolutely outstanding, phenomenal. We have another system called the nurse call messaging system, and that means that when staff are carrying around their handheld devices where they access Nourish, if somebody presses their call bell, it immediately comes through to the handheld device, and they can say that they're attending so that not more than one person turns up. And if they need help, they just press to say, I need some assistance. And that then sends out another alert. It also means that when it comes to reporting, we can look at how long it took for somebody to respond, how long it took for them to get there, how long they were with the resident for, And also, they add a note through the nurse call messaging system that adds to our Nourish timeline so that we can see exactly what they did when they were there. And those systems all interact with each other, and they really do make a huge difference to the cohesiveness of the care that we're able to deliver. In addition to those things, we're now using a secure sector design tool, and it's called Chat Redact, and that really is a bit of a game changer. We're at the early stages of that, but it's actually a artificial intelligence that means that it will write our care plans, summaries, risk assessment, all in a GDPR compliant governed environment with human sign off.
Mm.
We're also developing a web-based care home management tool that integrates with AI, and that would surface insights, themes, and trends. But day to day, that what that looks like is just clearer, more person-centered documentation, more in-depth risk assessments, and earlier prompts for us to support our residents.
Okay, so my next question was actually about the AI, and you mentioned the use of AI in different sectors of care homes. So, a couple of things. How do you see the AI contributing in day-to-day operations in care homes? And the second thing is, what do you think about the future of AI if we talk about just care homes? Do you think the AI will enhance the operations, or do you think it will just a thing of present, but in future it may not be a sustainable technology?
So I think I'll answer the first bit, which is around the future of AI in social care. So I can think of a number of ways in which AI can be utilized. We've started that process, but there's a lot more to go. And some of the things that I think that we're going to see is in systems like Nourish, all sorts of systems like PCS and the care recording systems, we'll be able to have enhanced care recorded notes. So where staff are rushed sometimes and put in the basics about somebody's interaction, the fact that they drank 70% of their orange juice, it'll actually say a bit more about that and can prompt them immediately to say, well, actually, they haven't drunk enough yet today. So we'll be looking after their hydration better. It'll talk to us about feedback about ensuring the resident has access to their walking aids because they're at risk of fall. It'll help us to identify earlier things like the risk of infections or the risk of a fall. It'll also help us to understand what might be contributing to their mobility needs out of their medication stack. So there's lots of things I think that AI will be able to do to us in the future, which will really augment everything that we do now, so that we're able to give better care. Generally speaking, when it comes to AI, its development, the first thing I think is we need better controls. So we need to ensure that we're implementing AI under good governance.
Mm,
There needs to be a good policy around how it's used. There needs to be strict rules that nothing personally identifiable is ever added into a public system of AI
mm,
and that it's only ever in a secure GDPR compliant environment. There needs to be a fail safe system that means that only ever a human proves anything that's been written by an AI. The AI will never take responsibility for what it outputs. So, therefore, it's always going to be the person's responsibility to say, yes, I have checked this. And yes, I approve that this actually is perfectly appropriate, person centered, and relevant to the individual who we're talking about. And I think we need to consider the ethics as well, that all of the information that we share with an AI needs to be good quality information and it needs to be shared on a need to know basis. We're not going to use more information than we need to, but we need to ensure that also the information is quality. An AI will only output the information that's as good as the input that it's been given in the
Mm,
beginning.
yeah,
And also to train the AI specifically for the task that we want them to do, and that the prompts that the AI are given should be automated prompts so that we're not having to teach every member of staff how to write a good quality AI prompt. That's not their skill sets. What it should be is that it's already pre programmed so that they can just ensure that the information they're getting out is from the best prompt, the best information, it's compliant, and in a GDPR compliant way.
got you, Kevin. So the main highlight of the AI in care homes is like it should be governed, and there should be some human who is overseeing, overlooking the things that AI is doing.
100%. It really needs to be secure, compliant, well governed, and the most important bit is it needs to be a human with sign off.
Got it. So moving to the next question, social care is all about vulnerability. So how do you like ensure that the people who are more vulnerable, like, and you use technology with those people, how do you ensure that the technology actually enhances the processes, it doesn't actually replaces the human?
Well, I mean, that's really important. So, our rule within Oakland Care Group is assist, don't replace. People make decisions, and tech can provide earlier prompts and admin support. But to ensure that there's a balance, we we embed that human oversight, that transparency about how and why we're using the technology, and data security into everything. If a tool doesn't give our team more time with the residents, or even if it confuses rather than clarifies, we don't use it. The real aim is to have more time. So we never want to have a piece of technology replacing a person, but if that piece of technology can free up more time, then that means that there is more people spending time with our residents. And that's what it's all about. It's all about people being with people. That personal relationship is everything within the care environment. And I believe that AI and other tech can free up more of that time, take away some of that admin burden, and allow them to have that time one on one.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta agree that the residents are there because they really want a human and emotional connection. So if AI starts replacing them, then there's no point of residents in the home care home because the emotional part of it is now absent and it doesn't make sense.
100%. And we're seeing some of this new technology coming out now where you can have a robot in a home. And you never know, that may be useful. What is never going to replace is companionship. A robot is never going to be a companion. It can be a physical helper. It could distribute food. It could, help with providing hydration. But what it's never going to do, it's never going to replace that human touch, that companionship, that love and care that another person can give to another person.
Completely agreed. So every resident in your care home must have unique needs. How do you ensure the personalization at a scale, and how do you actually meet the per- like the unique needs of every resident at Auckland care homes?
So, I mean, personal care, that kind of getting to know the resident and then making sure that that information is recorded to share with the rest of the team. That happens literally in the moment. And that's why you need these handheld devices, because they capture the preferences of the residents right at the bedside, right at their seat, right in the middle of a conversation. You literally finish with a resident. and then you immediately put into the handheld device those notes. And that's what makes it person centered. We don't change the resident's voice. So when they say, you know, I prefer to have my breakfast at 8 o'clock in the morning, we write, I prefer to have my breakfast at 8 o'clock in the morning. We don't change anything at all. The other thing as well is, it can help us with some early warning prompts. So if there's a change in somebody's appetite or their mood or their mobility, that can help us adapt how we're caring for that resident immediately, right in that day. We're not looking to have some kind of generic template. And what we
Mm.
want is real lived insight, and they will be reviewed as well by the resident and by the people that know the resident the most, whether that's um, our care practitioners or the resident's own family.
Understood. So moving to the next question, Kevin. In social care, culture plays an important role. So, and not every team member that you are going to onboard is going to be technically very sound. So, how do you ensure this, or what approaches have helped you to get the staff on board for new tools and build a right culture within your organization?
Yeah, that's really important, actually. I think there's quite a few things. So, the first thing is to start small. If you can find a pain point that you've got, and you address that pain point, that small clear win really wins people over. They can see how this solution is going to work, and their minds start to think, well, if we can do that, why can't we do it with this? Why can't we do that? And then they actually get on board with the whole idea of scaling this project. Um, we try to find champions within each team who can be brought on board in an in-depth way early on. We get them to feed into our conversations very early on in the process. We get feedback from our staff members through the champions as well, so that those individuals are on the shift at the time, able to support them, able to help them. And we don't take people out of a shift and sit them in a classroom. We
Mhm.
do bite-sized on-shift training and support right throughout the day. We we also try and remove any friction. So we try to make sure that everything is on the one single device. There's only one sign-on. We provide quick help guides that we just post up on the wall to tell you how to do one thing so that people can pick that up very easily. And so we design everything around the busy shifts that they have. Uh, and then we try to protect that small home feel, so that everybody feels as though, um, you know they can come and ask the manager, they can come and ask a team leader, they can come and ask me. I'm around a lot, so that everybody can actually feed back, and we're responsive all the time, so that if something is a problem, if something is, creating a bit of friction, then we'll look to resolve that quickly.
Understood. So, just to summarize, it's more like in-field training rather than giving them manuals and handbooks and just ask them to go through them. It's just like they will learn as they see and they will grow through that.
Exactly that, and making sure that they feel supported, give them time, allow them to grow into understanding the technology and the benefits of it. So, we don't look at how much it's being used or what are the problems with it. What we look at is how are the staff feeling, how are they getting on with it. Because if you support the staff, if it's all about the teams, the technology will get there. It'll grow and develop because they'll be using it more because they'll see how it benefits them.
Yeah, I completely agree. So, Kevin, moving forward to the next question. So, as Auckland grows, how do you ensure that this social care remains personal even as you bring more technology and systems?
I think some of the really important stuff are ensuring that we've got visible managers, visible team leaders. Um, we've got resident of the day routines in place, so we focus on one resident all day, from everything to do with their care plans, their risk assessments, right the way through to what would they like to see on the menus. What would they like changed in their own rooms? How can we better support them? What kind of activities would they like? When would they like to go on outings and to where? So that resident gets a full day's focus every month to ensure everything is reflective of their personal needs. And that helps us stay really, really personal. And while we ensure that we've got really good, strong governance, including ISO 9001, this gives us consistency, but without adding bureaucracy to the system. And also, being fully recruited helps because we have a continuity of staff that keeps relationships right at the center. And our tech just reduces admin so the teams can just spend more time with people.
Yeah, so just the goal is just like just keep the people side for the people and let's handle all the manual work that can be automated using systems.
Absolutely.
Got it. So if you look 5 years ahead, what role do you see technology playing in shaping safer, more efficient, and compassionable care homes?
Oh, I think the first thing will be around the increase in administrative automation. So documentation, audits, action planning, tracking, everything being streamlined so that the people themselves can focus on good quality decisions and relationships. I think tech will become AI specifically a bit of a co-pilot. It'll suggest things, it'll summarize things, it'll spot patterns. And while the teams that know the people best will remain firmly in charge. I think we're looking at as well having more things discreetly monitoring so that they can keep an eye on the residents' health. We'll have more information so that from afar rather than wearables, we'll know what their vitals are doing, so we can have better information about going on with them, and that way we'll be able to get prompts much earlier, and that means we'll be able to put in more gentle interventions rather than having to put significant ones in because it's been left for a while. And finally, I think the sorts of things that we're looking at are more interoperability. We're going to need systems that talk to each other, that then all of these different pieces of information come together to give us a single view of the resident, one whole picture that's going to be holistic about
Mm.
that individual person.
I'm really impressed by the vision you have for the Auckland Karen, and I really do hope that you carry on this and really provide the residents what they deserve after spending their lives for the country and for the people. So, Kevin, we are moving to the next segment of this podcast, which is rapid fire questions. The rule here is you cannot think. I will ask the question, and the first thing you get in your mind, you need to speak it. So, the first question is a piece of tech you think every care home should have.
Well, digital care planning software, without a shadow of doubt. Everybody needs that. Happens at the bedside. It's reliable, it's fast, and it's really, really easy for them to use.
One process you would love to see fully automated.
Pulling themes really from incidents and audits, and then giving us the information, creating action plans so that we can implement those changes that they've prompted.
The most underrated innovation in care today and why.
AI. it's not being picked up, it's being viewed with suspicion, and it can do so much with regards to making things quicker, clearer, and giving us prompts so we can act earlier.
One common misconception people have about care homes.
Oh, that they're institutional, um, done well. They're homely, but full of choices and socialization. They add so much to somebody's life that they get a new wind, a fresh start later in life, rather than being somewhere that they go to deteriorate.
What's the most exciting part of leading a care group right now?
Um, the amazing satisfaction that you get from hearing back from families about your team's successes and the happy lives that they create for our residents.
As a leader, what's the single best advice you have carried with you across the roles and challenges?
Oh, ooh, ooh. So I would say listen first, make the path ahead as simple as possible, and look after your people, look after your teams. If you look after your teams, they look after everything else for you.
All right, Kevin. I think so. That's it. Thank you for sharing wonderful insights for our audience. I believe the kind of technology you're embracing in care homes right now and the vision you have for care homes, I think so. Coming years, it would be really amazing for the whole industry um, around the world and even in the UK as well. So, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for sharing
Thank you.
insights and and for the audience, I think so the learnings we have and the life we discussed with the Kevin, I think so. These are the principles one should live by. And until then, dream big, build products, or do something that actually matters, and keep finding the tech that finds you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Abdurrahman.